Hi Aries, welcome to your November 2017 reading. I accidentally deleted your monthly video. I got trigger happy. I was trying to clear space in my computer. I was trying to upload the mid-months and I did it twice for Aries and it froze at 94%. Then I tried to make your video 4 times today and just interruptions started happening. So I'm going to try this again. So these are your monthlies. Monthlies are done differently than mid-months. I'm going to try to cover homework and relationships. Relationships come in all forms. They come in the form of family members. So that could be your siblings, parents, grandparents, children. Can include coworkers. Sometimes I do get relationships like romantic partnership in it. And I deal with energies. So the camera's a little all messed up. Oh, there we go. You got poppers. Okay. So your first card you have is the Ace of Wands. The second card you have is the Eight of Swords. The third one is the Strength card. We have the Three of Wands. We have the King of Swords. We have the Hierophant. We got the Nine of Cups. We have the Moon card. It's funny because this Moon card has come out and every time I've tried to do it. The last reading it came out in the same position, so. And we have the Two of Pentacles. All right. Just give me a moment to tune into the energies. Okay, well, it seems like in your relationship sector, okay, okay, if there is any problems occurring, it's due to indulgence, it's saying, okay? There's also a sense of smugness here. There seems to be some sort of separation. Somebody's like looking out, and then somebody else is like looking in. Like, so that I'm kind of getting like one person's more focused on the outside world. So I'm not sure if that's you or the other person. It's just what I'm picking up. And then the other, okay, one person's more focused on outside. The other person's more focused on internal. So like one person might be working all the time. And then the other person, it kind of seems like the other person that's looking out is because they're refusing to look inwards. So they're like indulgent. There could be drinking happening. Okay, and if this is for singles here, if you're drinking, then this could be causing, okay, well, if there's any substance abuse, then that means that there's a refusal to look inwards and deal with the actual issue. It's a block, it's a way of blocking out what needs to be tended to. It's kind of like a denial process. And then for others of you, okay, it kind of seems like some Aries, like in some aspect, in some sort of relationship, they come in all forms, keep that in mind. It is saying that there has to be, well, a new start here. Okay, so for some of you, what it's saying when looking outwards, what's preventing you, if you're single, it would be that you're more focused on things that have happened in the past. Okay, so this could mean like if you're a father or a mother and like you're separated from that partner, okay, and you're reflecting back like you like this person, like, okay, this person has power over you still because you're thinking about it. What I'm seeing is a door, and I'm seeing that the door doesn't have, or not a door, a doorway, but it doesn't have a door on it, so it's open. So it's like you're passing in and out of it like freely. So you're letting this person go through your mind freely. There's no actual door on it where you're closing it. So that, again, if you're single and you've had children, and now you're separated from your partner, and you're like in your mind you're reflecting on the past, like this person, I wish I never met them, or I wish I never dealt with them, I wish this and that. Okay, well, you need to see that negative as a positive because you had a child from that person. So you received a gift. You got positive out of the negative. You would have never had that child without that person. So regardless of even if they things aren't working out, or you didn't stay together or whatever, like there's a perception that needs to change here because you got a gift from the universe out of that negativity. There's always positive and negative, and there's always negative and positive. Okay, you need both to alchemize. What works for one doesn't always work for another. Uh, if there is a problem in your relationships, it could be due to things not being okay. Like there's too much in the mind happening, and it can cause you to get emotionally off balance. And it is saying, well, it is saying reflection of the past is a big issue. Uh, so for those of you where you need to put a door, you need to put a door on that doorway. You need to close it, okay? And then you need to look outward. So stop looking at the past and look forward, okay? There's travel here too, so somebody could travel. Or you may go or plan a vacation of some sort. It's like you have the inner wisdom also in you. Um, there is some sort of wish that you will get, but it's not just going to happen. You have to actually do it yourself. It is saying that. Like you have to, so this means things aren't just magically going to get better. If you're having issues in your relationship, somebody, well, there is ego here, all right? Because in the Ace of Wands, it's a pretty big head. You see that? It's a pretty big head. So this means that quite often when people try to communicate with each other, it comes out as anger, and that anger is really disappointment. Okay, so, and what it is that they don't emotionally express themselves. So if the person was just open and honest, it kind of interrupts programming, if you want to say programming, because it's a pattern that people develop over time. We all develop this pattern, but when you switch the way up that you communicate and you actually express what it is you're feeling and how it affected you, then that breaks that pattern. It's the unexpected. So that is an Aquarius energy I'm getting from that, because there's a wizard in it, which is Merlin, and I associate Aquarius with Merlin. One of your children could want to move too. Okay. Do be careful with the people that you allow in your life, because I'm seeing like almost like that Snow White with the apple. They were offered the apple, uh, and then she bit it, and then like she fell into a deep sleep. Not. I pulled another card because I want to see the Nine of Cups, and it's okay. What needs to happen, Aries, I go over this a lot with you guys, you're givers. I get extremely frustrated when people are like, oh, Aries are selfish. Well, they just don't see how they give. It's done in the physical realm. They're providers. Uh, Aries are kind of like Make-A-Wish Foundation. You make a wish and Aries will make it happen. They really will. You guys are magical. Uh, Well, what's happening here is like there's a point where you've given too much, and now you need to create boundaries. For some of you, it is cutting ties with the past and focusing on the future, right? The past gave you knowledge and wisdom. You now have that to move forward. You did receive out of that negative that you experienced, you received positivity. This could even mean like if you've separated when you're in your 60s, okay, well, and you thought I wasted my whole life with this person. Okay, that's not true. That person was meant to come into your life to help your children, like help your children's mind grow and to get them on the path that they needed to be on, and that wouldn't have been done. Okay, so there's like a release that needs to happen here. You do need to establish boundaries. You may be giving way too much, and there's sense here where you got to give to yourself. Okay, so this means like if things are all bottled up in your mind, and this quite often happens with Aries, they have an explosion because they keep things in too much for too long, and they try to. You guys do similar to Virgos. You do try to fix situations by doing things. Okay, I can do this to make it better. I can do that to make it better. Okay, there's a sense here you can't do. You have to actually like verbally express it, and you have to respect your emotions. It means if you gotta cry, you gotta cry. You know, like what we got going on at work is it's basically in your relationships you can't argue. You have to like there has to be a level of respect for yourself by coming out and creating those boundaries. Like if people are taking too much, then you need to step back and you need to give to yourself. Okay, you possibly you might need a vacation. Okay, at work we have you seem to be quite worried for some reason about your job. Okay, and if you're worried, it's because you're not seeing something, and uh, you need more of the analytical, logical mind. You may have a boss that's it's coming through as an air sign, but it doesn't mean that it's an air sign. Water signs can take on that energy. Uh, Fire signs can take on that energy. So for you, it's asking like my readings are a little more self-focused. Uh, it's asking for you to see things from a more analytical standpoint. There could be somebody at work that, like in the relationship sector, I'm seeing somebody that overindulges. So there could be somebody at work that spreads like a lot of rumors, talks a lot. So this can mean like, okay, you might have employees that produce more than others, yet there's other people that get more credit because they're good talkers. So this means that there's a sense here of you need to understand what you see and what you hear are different, but you also don't want to get involved in that. All right. So if you're a boss, you want to take notice of that because there's some people that may be in your company. This means if you're supervisor or manager, that they will they're operating out of lower nature, lower vibration, lower animal instincts, which means they're in a fear state, survival mode. So they'll do underhanded tactics to take down threats. It's almost like there may be like a pack of coyotes or something. But you don't want to get involved in the rumors. There could be you could have somebody at work that is emotionally. There is a Cancer here. This King of Swords could be a Cancer. He's concerned about family. There may be some things that he's not. So if you have somebody at work, uh, they could be going through an experience and they're not talking about it. So like they could have uh, a sick family member, or there's some sort of worry and anxiety that they're getting. So if there's a person at work that normally is upbeat and happy and they're very sharp, like they've taken on the swords character, it would be due to some emotional things happening. So it would be like saying that you just need to understand that if somebody at work's being sharp, it's they may need a little more compassion because there's something happening that they're not talking about. Also with work, it is saying that okay, well, you may be working uh, a little too hard and it's like too many hours and it's or you're working to avoid problems, and it's like we're going back to the relationship sector. You can't avoid things, Aries. You have to tend to them so you don't get emotionally off balance, and that's also respecting yourself. um, there could also be a change going on at your company. So that means like there could be things that have been hidden that will be seen, that will come to light. So you want to ensure that you're being very analytical and logical about things. So people that come up to you and are running their mouth about other people, don't even get involved in it. Things are going to be found out. There is a chance here somebody could try to do something underhanded, but don't retaliate. It's saying don't retaliate. And some of you may need to take some time off for your to focus on family, your children. Well, what we got coming in at home is we got the Strength card, the Hierophant, and the Two of Pentacles. So this means that you guys are very focused on traditional things, which would mean tending to your relationship, your romantic relationship, your relationship with your children. If you're having problems at home, you need to focus on those things. Uh, you have to have a lot of strength this month, Aries, and a lot of there's a pause you need to take, and you do need to see things differently. I'm seeing that you're gonna have to have a lot of courage and strength to get over whatever you're going through. I do feel like there's a sense here too of separation from family. And for those of you, it's like there is some sense where people need to come together more in harmony, because people are looking opposite directions, is what I'm seeing. So that means then there has to be like a negotiation talk, okay, about how things need to change, what's affecting this, like explaining why you want it to change. It's also not fighting change though, Aries, okay? You can't fight change. You have to allow it to happen. And in order for it to happen, it means that there has to be action taken on it. You got to do it for yourself, nobody else, right? Okay, it's saying what not to do at work is be dissatisfied. So for some of you, if you don't like your job, this is saying then, okay, well, you have to make the actual changes again to make that happen. Um, so this means taking on new opportunities for a new job, or looking for a new job, uh, trying something different or new, starting your own company. If you're starting your own company, then you need to realize that is a lengthy process. It can take years. Okay, it doesn't mean that just it's not just going to happen magically. I mean, for Aries, it might. It really might, Aries. You just have to be decisive. This is talking about decisive. Uh, So it means you need to visualize what you want and actually know what you want and go for it. There's no humming and hawing, and there's no avoidance either. There's a sense of avoiding something in all of your life, so it'll be different. Uh, there is a choice you need to make at home. For some of you, it could be moving. Okay, you could have a child that's making a decision to move. Uh, at home, you're gonna have to have. It is coming up as courage. Uh, So if you want to move, then it may be time to move. This could mean, like, for some of you, getting out of a relationship because it is the Hierophant, which is tradition, that's no longer working for you. And you'll know that if it's you, right? Don't just because you're going through a difficulty in your relationship doesn't mean that it can't be healed or fixed. In that scenario, it means that you have to do the things that you don't want to do to create change, which means having that one conversation that you don't want to have. Um, and having it in a manner of where it's not anger coming out, it's emotions coming out. For some of you, this is talking about starting a family business, even is here. There's potential for that here. Uh, but this is kind of like locking down. Ah, messages I get are so weird. It's locking down what you have and appreciating what you have and removing what's no longer necessary in your life. So this could even mean negative self-talk. Uh, there is a sense here of appreciating yourself, of like who you are and your capabilities. and cutting through the bull, creating boundaries and boundaries for yourself. That can take a while if you've always been a giver, and most Aries are quite giving. It could take a while to create the boundaries of no longer doing that, and you're doing that out of respect for yourself. There's a whole bunch of little birds tweeting out there. They're all just going off. They're actually starlings. So maybe there's a spiritual meaning in that. If you want to look that up, I could tell you, but for each of you, it'll be different. You'll find the information that you need when you go searching. Because again, it'll be different for all of you. You'll have like when some of you will look at one site, the other ones will look at a different site, and for each of you, it'll be the one that you need to find. The universe kind of works like the Matrix. All right. So this is a weird, the Matrix. So that's like you need to unplug yourself here. Okay, so it's like you need to cut through illusions. You don't have the Seven of Cups here, but you do need to cut through things and create boundaries. So that means holding yourself accountable. If things aren't going right, well then at the end of the day, the only person who can make the difference and make a change is you. You don't like your job, well then you're going to have to make that change. Or you're going to have to speak up to your superior. Apply for another position. With the moon card here, this may be saying like you're looking for another job without telling your company that you are. And that's okay if that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Ensure that you're securing yourself, though. You're not just making quick, snap decisions without thinking. If you're working too much, it is to avoid problems. With the Ace of Wands here, it's like a new start. And if you want that new start, you have to see things from a different perspective. It is saying that. Yeah, okay, for some of you, it is saying you're in your home. It's like, okay, for some of you, it may be redecorating. Maybe getting rid of things that you no longer need. So having a garage sale, if you need a little extra cash, get rid of all the stuff that you don't have or that you don't want. There is a sense here of Aries where you're doing a whole lot, like a hell of a lot. And it's like others aren't acknowledging it somehow. So that, again, it's not the appreciation, which means you need to create boundaries. If you're always giving, they're continuously going to take. So you need to create a boundary here. And this boundary is being created out of respect for yourself. I do worry about my Aries. They give a lot. All right. You're going to have to morph here. All right. It's morphin' time, Aries. Okay, you got to do it. And you're doing it for yourself here. Okay, whatever changes you're making, you're doing it for yourself. Or if you can't do it for yourself, then you need to focus on that one person you need to do it for. So if you have a child, you need to focus on you're doing what you're doing for your child. So this means if you need to go back to school and study your butt off for 4 years to get a diploma in whatever category you've always wanted to do, and you're going to struggle for those 4 years, well then this is what you need to do. And while you're doing that, you need to keep that child in mind the whole time you're doing it, or your husband or your wife. If you're 40 years old, 50 years old, you can still go back to school. All right? There's plenty of opportunities here, but then things aren't going to change unless you change it. The cards are saying that. And I am concerned about you guys not having a proper boundary here from people that are taking constantly. And there is like this mask that needs to come off. Okay? So it's like you need to start seeing the light through the darkness. And quite often, if there's darkness all around you, that's because you're light. You're bringing the light towards others. You are focused on money. There is opportunity for a new job out there if you need it. It could be at a distance. We have the Knight of Wands here, which is travel. It could be at a distance. This could mean that you might have to move. For some of you, this could be a child moving. There is institutions here, so if you have your own business idea, this came up in your mid-month too, and Sagittarius too for some reason. You have nothing but opportunities. The government will help you in some manner. They have tons of different programs that you can go to. If there's like custody issues that you're having or something like that, this is also talking about, okay, well, there's law students that you can go and you can get information from. You do not take there's different sources you can go to. You want to try as many sources as possible, and then you want to because one or two people could it could be wrong, or somebody else could be a little bit wiser or figure it out in a different manner that's more beneficial. So you want to consider multiple. There's three different avenues here. All right? And you got to pick one. And it seems like, okay, you'll end up finding three different opportunities, even maybe for a job that you want, or three different places you want to move. You'll end up being confused about two, and you're going to have to choose between the two. And the one that may be most beneficial for you could be at a distance. It's also saying this is an action-oriented time. There's a sense here of an adventure too. So this is like understanding that life is a journey. Okay? Some of you could be writers and you might want to write about your journey. Like you do need to go out more to get more inspiration though. Okay? You might need to go to some sort of networking event just to get inspiration or just to talk to people to see how they do it. This is definitely new experiences, though, a journey of some sort. So it's understanding that anything that happened in your past was part of your journey to push you forward. Again, like I was saying earlier, one aspect of that is like if you separated from somebody and you got children out of it, so out of that bad came good. Okay, you wouldn't have gotten that child um, if you weren't with that person. So like the universe has gifts for you. It's just you have to take action on it. And you have to be very decisive. Uh, I got all the faith in the world in you guys. You're Aries. You're magical. It's morphin time, Aries. And the lovers here is a choice. Again, you do got decisions that you have to make. Don't make mountains out of molehills, though. So it's like, don't see, like, just because like, things are taking time, or, like, things might be difficult. It might be difficult to make these changes or decisions. Uh, okay, well, then there's some sort of fear here. You can't look at things in a fearful state. Um, okay, so that means it's an obstacle. And if you don't want to tackle that obstacle, it's because there's fear. And if there's fear, well, fear is nothing more than an illusion. All right, that fear is in your mind. Um, it's just like a movie playing in your mind. Okay, it's a scenario. Once you get over that obstacle, you realize it wasn't that big of a deal. All right, it's uncomfortable, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And there's some sense here, Aries, you already know what you have to do. For some reason, you're putting it off. Because I'm getting the, like, um, side eye, like, like you can see it from the corner of your eye. Like, you see it. I know what you're about. That's kind of what I just heard from the lovers, where I know what you're about. Where it's like, and you've given multiple opportunities in some manner, where again, it's coming back to creating boundaries in some scenario because you're giving too much. If you're always working overtime, you need to cut it back a little bit, just for yourself. You may have a kid that, okay, art therapy can be very good for them and very healing as well in getting that. Some of you, it's even swimming. You may have a child that's building a foundation of some sort, even, or is an artist of some sort. It is the month to make decisions, though, Aries, okay? And you do have to contemplate these decisions beforehand. It's not just like a gung ho go and do it. You really have to contemplate things, and you have to understand what's best for you is best for everybody else. Okay, they might not realize that in the short term. In the long term, they will, because the more that you become stronger and heal, then that's like a ripple effect for the people around you. It'll also weed out the people that no longer um, serve you or should be in your life, because they can't handle the change. They'll end up leaving. They'll also like try to pull you back in to where they are, the state of mind that they are. All right, Aries, hopefully that helped you out. Namaste, and I will talk to you next month. Ciao for now.